What's up guys, it's the Couch Bear here, bringing you another video. I'm going to start this video off with a little story. When I was a teenager, many years ago, I didn't play video games online that much. I mostly played them for the single player campaigns. So one day, whilst looking for a new game to play, I stumbled upon Battlefield Bad Company, and it looked interesting. So I bought it, played the campaign, and loved it. Wanting more, I decided to give the multiplayer a try, and whilst I didn't fall in love with it, I did enjoy it. So some years later, now playing games online more often, Bad Company 2 came out, and I picked it up, and this time, I did fall in love with the multiplayer. And whilst I didn't know life it, I did play it a lot. Then Battlefield 3 came out, and boy oh boy did I know life that. At this point, I was a fan of the Battlefield series, but no Battlefield game since Battlefield 3 has captured me like it did. I have enjoyed some of them, but not as much as 3. This is what pushed me more towards playing Call of Duty. Until now. With COD in a bad way right now, Battlefield is in prime position to take the top spot as best FPS on the market. And not just in my heart, but in many other old school Battlefield fans' hearts as well, who haven't connected with the series in over a decade. After watching the Battlefield 6 reveal, I was very hyped up to say the least, and going into the beta I had high hopes, and it delivered. One of the first things I said to my friends was Battlefield is back, and now with the beta finished I still believe it. Battlefield 6 is the most fun I've had with a Battlefield game since Battlefield 3. Now, is it perfect? No. There are a few bugs that need to be worked on, and there is a few design elements I just don't like, but none of that ruined my experience. So, for the main topic of this video, I'm going to talk about what I did and didn't like about the Battlefield 6 beta, what I think needs changing, what needs improving. So let's jump into it. Firstly, I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like, starting with the one I disliked the most, that being the death cam, kill cam, killer cam, whatever you want to call it. In previous Battlefield games, it highlighted the player who killed you and followed them around, keeping them highlighted for a few seconds. But in Battlefield 6, you get a highlight of where they were when they killed you, and it doesn't follow them. And I don't like this. Mainly because it doesn't always work. Sometimes I was killed by a dude stood right next to me, but the camera zoomed in on an empty hill in the middle of nowhere, and when I moved my camera around there was no highlight anywhere. The inconsistency of it is what made me not like it, and I would much rather have the previous live cam highlight back, rather than just a quick snapshot of a moment. Next up is the brightness when looking out of a building, and vice versa. Whilst your eyes adjusting to the light is realistic, I don't think it belongs in a multiplayer game where moments matter. I ran into multiple situations where from the outside, I couldn't really see a person sat in my view because he was inside a building in a corner shrouded in shadow, and I was outside, so looking in it was too dark. On the reverse, I had situations looking out of buildings where the enemy's uniforms blended in with the environment far too easily because everything was so bright and oversaturated. This was especially bad on Cairo, which is a very bright map when you're outside. I don't expect this feature to be removed from the game, but at least a setting to turn it off would be nice. And if it was already there and I didn't notice it, then I guess this is a moot point. That brings me nicely into the final thing I didn't like about the beta. The settings menu and general menu UI. I'm not a big fan of horizontal UI in games anyway, and I'm even less of a fan of menus being hidden within other menus. So Battlefield's settings being submenu upon submenu, it just rubbed me the wrong way. But with all that said, once I sorted my settings out the first time, I don't actually think I touched them again for the rest of the beta, so I was over it very quickly, but I'm not a fan of it. As for the horizontal menus, scrolling from side to side to find game modes, I'm pretty sure they've addressed that and said that they're looking into new UI anyway, so hopefully that'll be changed for the full game. Quick honourable mention for things I didn't like is a bug that I had a few times. Sometimes when I spawned in, I took some damage as if I'd been hit by something. But some of them happened spawning at my team's HQ completely in cover. On top of that, the damage was always different amounts. Sometimes small, sometimes it was enough to make me one shot from death. I have no idea what caused it, nor do I have the expertise to even hazard a guess. It is what it is. But that is the point of a beta, to find small bugs like this so they can have them fixed for launch. Up next is a quick section of the things I didn't like or dislike, and it's one thing: the maps. Now, I know a lot of people online didn't like the size of the maps, saying they were too small, and when compared to maps from previous Battlefield games, that is true. They are smaller, and whilst larger maps would be nice, I'm okay with the maps being the size that they are. None of the beta maps blew me away with how amazing they were, but I did enjoy my time playing on them. So whether all the maps are smaller maps, or if there are some bigger maps at launch, I'll be happy. And from what I can remember, I'm pretty sure they have said since the beta that there are bigger maps. Operation Firestorm, for instance, is a bigger map. Hopefully there's a couple that size, just to satisfy everyone's needs. Now on to the things I did like about the beta. Starting with movement. The removal of tac sprint was a refreshing thing to see. Personally, I don't like tac sprint, even in COD. It's just cost me too many controllers. A base sprint is fast enough movement for me. Then, when you add the ability to slide in, I'm even happier. And the fact that you can dive is also nice. I found myself not using it very often, but the fact it's there for other players to use as they want is nice. But what really blew my socks off with the movement was the combat roll when falling from a height. I found myself jumping out of windows on routes that I wouldn't usually take, just so I could do it. And the fact the animation's so smooth and not disorientating just adds an extra level of cool on for me. Next up is the weapons of Battlefield 6. I went out of my way to get every weapon in the beta to level 20 so I could try them all and get a good feel for all of them. And I found that not a single one of them was a bad weapon. Obviously some performed much better than others in certain areas, but it didn't once feel like I was underpowered. To me this is a good thing. It means that any weapon is viable, and there is no weapon where you are handicapped if you're using it. That being said, there will still be meta weapons. I'm looking at the shotgun for that. But it's hard to balance a game so that it doesn't have meta weapons. With all that said, I personally found myself using the AK-205 the most, which since the beta I have found out was one of the meta weapons, so I guess that makes sense. But it was super flat recoil wise, easy to control, close to mid-range, and even did well beyond mid-range. Whether it still performs like that in the full game, we'll have to wait and see. But if it does, I can see that being the weapon I use the most. At least at the start. And now, the final thing I really enjoyed about the Battlefield 6 beta was just the feel of it. It feels like Battlefield. In my experience, Battlefield hasn't felt good in a long time. Not since Battlefield 1, to be honest. Battlefield 5 wasn't bad, but it didn't feel good to me. And the less we say about the way 2042 felt, the better. Now, it could just be nostalgia that makes me feel this way, but I genuinely believe Battlefield 6 is the best feeling Battlefield game since Battlefield 3. I love Battlefield, and I've been waiting around since Battlefield 4 for another modern Battlefield game. I did enjoy Battlefield 1 and I did put some time into it, but I prefer modern military shooters. With how much time I played the Battlefield 6 beta, and hell, even how much content I've consumed on YouTube whilst I wasn't playing it, I can see myself putting a lot of time into the full game, and I can't wait for October 10th. It can't come soon enough. It's safe to say that the Battlefield 6 beta has reignited that spark within me to play Battlefield again. So much so I have gone back and recorded a playthrough of the Battlefield 3 campaign. I just need to edit it and then I can put it out. And I'm also doing the same thing for Battlefield 4. That won't be coming out within the next couple of weeks. I have something planned for next week. If we get there, then we get there. But anyway, those are my thoughts and impressions on the Battlefield 6 beta. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and ding that notification bell to stay up to date with when I post. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Laters.